Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to another special episode of a BJJ Marriage, where we are coming right out of a news segment that we just filmed at Fluid Jiu Jitsu with Professor Brenton that will be airing today. So this podcast will be coming out a little bit later after that, but we'll post the link to that article in the show notes for everybody to see. But we have special guests today. So,
welcome, guys.
Your hosts, Brittany and Nick. And then we also have...
I'm Dave.
This is Dave.
Hi, I'm Dave.
Resident purple belt of Fluid Jiu Jitsu. And Tracy, one of our awesome female blue belts at Fluid Jiu Jitsu. She's actually got promoted at the same time as me.
So we have Professor Brenton in the background, so if you hear a bunch of blurbing, that's him.
Blur, blur, blur.
Yes.
He doesn't want to be on camera today. It's too early for him.
This is stupid.
Not that early. But yeah, so what we did today is we had a news article, and we were talking about our traditional Gracie self-defense techniques and how we can use that in our everyday lives. And we snagged them to film a podcast with us.
It's kind of impromptu. We were just looking at the time. We're like, oh, we should film a podcast today. We have time.
Yes,
Let's
fantastic.
talk about what we did today.
Yeah.
Self-defense.
Self-defense.
Word science.
Gun and knife self-defense.
Why don't you guys introduce
Dave
yourself?
made me look really good on camera.
Right.
We had to wear masks, so he'd be like, underneath.
No lip reading at all.
What self-defense moves did we do today?
So, pointing gun at somebody's head, or somebody pointing gun at your head. Somebody trying to stab you, the ex-wife.
Ex-wife overhand trying to come right at you.
The psycho killer.
Yep.
Eyes popping out of the head.
Yes.
We did chokes, like the barroom attacks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like when somebody would hold you up against the wall, or but the ones we actually did when somebody just grabbed your neck with one hand or two hands.
Yeah. And hostage situation. So someone was behind you and they held the gun to your head, what to do, grab the barrel and turn it, and all that fun stuff.
And the bear hug.
Oh yeah.
Tried to abduct you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bear hug and then bear hug grapevine with your leg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now Brittany says that she is how far to her black belt test?
I said I was 1/7 of the way of knowing my black belt test now. Because I dribbled it so much today.
Yes, and then we can go back and watch it online
Oh, great.
whenever we need to
So
practice.
excited. It's forever filmed.
Did you guys have fun doing that?
Yeah, it's fun.
Have you guys ever been on the news before?
Yes.
Mexican Dave's like, yeah,
That's why I asked him. Because
Show your gold tooth.
I know he'd been around.
I was on the news for pumpkin chucking a couple of years ago.
Oh, awesome.
That's
For
cool.
Yeah, pumpkin chucking.
Oh,
My
pumpkin
church
chucking.
built a trebuchet and they found pumpkins.
That is fantastic. I think I saw that. I don't know if I saw you or if I knew you then, but I remember seeing like something about pumpkin trebuchets.
Yeah.
And that's pretty unique. It was probably you.
There was a giant red one. I was one of the guys that was working on climbing it and
That's
setting it
amazing.
all up.
Wow. Yeah, I've been on the news before also for Sunfire Pizza, which is also opening again today. So good luck to them.
You're not there, so it's not your problem, right?
I'm not there. It's somebody else's baby now. I can just go play with the baby, and then I can leave it and not worry about it anymore.
This has been his analogy all week. It's like, I
Nice.
just get to go help, and then I get to leave, and I don't have to worry about them calling me with crap at 3 in the morning anymore.
You're like, very awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Very
we had
exciting.
CBS 58 News in Milwaukee at Fluid today. They were promoting not only the business, but the self-defense techniques of jiu-jitsu and
the women's open mat Friday.
yeah.
Yes. Women's only.
Women's only. Come on down, ladies.
Yes.
We have a blast, and probably gonna go out and get some food after.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Tacos and tequila, right? That's what the plan is.
So,
Cool.
both of you being women.
Dave's like, I'm going to be a girl that day because I want to go get tacos and tequila.
These guys,
That's
I've
kinda
seen
Sarah.
both guys in dresses, so
Yeah.
I'm checking at the door. I'm checking IDs at the door.
But as women, what is the number one thing that jiu-jitsu has brought to your life as a woman?
Awareness.
A little self-confidence, like in alone situations, or how I carry myself, or just that I have a little something to keep myself safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very settling.
It's like a good foundation, a good base for you to know that if something were to happen, you have something to work with, right?
I've had, big people on top of me before. Like the panic piece is hopefully taken care of a little.
Yeah. So you were saying awareness?
Yeah, I'm definitely much more aware of the energy in a room now and the situation and the people who are surrounding me, and I read the room a little bit better than I used to.
Absolutely. Dave, as a woman?
Well.
Oh my God, please never do that again.
No.
Well,
You didn't
I
hear my
can say
story?
One thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you didn't hear my story. I already told them that yesterday I was talking to one of our kids, and she was trying to tell me about Dave, but she didn't know his name. And she was like, yeah, the guy with the bun. I was like, oh, that's Dave.
Absolutely.
What were you going to say?
Trust. Learning about trust. The teammates at Fluid are, and even if I've trained, like just gone to an open mat at other gyms, like ladies are really cool. Like the friendships we have, especially here at Fluid, we're really unique. We're kind of like a family. And like Ellie, she'll be like, "How hard we going today?" Like we always check in with each other. How
After she's done screaming your name when you walk in the door.
I never tiptoe in late.
Yeah.
Not that I would. But
No, never.
No.
Until you're at 1 in 10 minutes, right?
right, I'm always like, Ellie, you're busting me out. Like who's gonna tiptoe in?
Tracy time.
Breaking my cover.
Made it today at 5 o'clock. Well,
No.
10 after
No, you
5.
did not.
10 after
She was
I
on
called
time.
Dave. I'm like,
5:11.
just tell everybody I'm coming. I'm right there in Bryce Alter. She's like, I'm leaving my house right now.
It was fine. It all ended up being perfect. Everybody was on time.
We had to be here at 5 in the morning so that we could start filming at, the first segment was at 5:45 a.m., right?
Yep.
And then next one was at 6:25, and then they did an interview and ended around 6:45. It's a long morning.
Yeah. It's like every one of my and Dave's mornings. So we do on the regular.
Dave didn't know he was coming until he walked into the gym last night. And I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, Dave, you want to be my attacker tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Can we go Facebook Live on Fluid's page with this?
Sure.
Just
Absolutely.
a few minutes.
Sure.
Not the whole thing.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, so, but yeah, I think we all had a really good time showcasing jiu-jitsu for the news, right? Yeah. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And it was really fun because the newscaster had no idea about jiu-jitsu. We got to show him a little bit of technique.
He didn't even know how to say it.
Yeah, he was like,
He was
jiu-jitsu.
He was cute.
Really interested because then
Yes.
he'd have to talk to his cameraman and he'd be like, no, back to the choke. Like,
Mhm.
how is that? How do you,
Yeah.
He was very interested.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, it was funny how interested he was in the rear naked choke because people tend to think that that's the easiest choke to get or the easiest choke to do or the one that they think about the most. But in all reality, if you train jiu-jitsu, you know that that's not an easy choke to one hit and then two even like get them to submit to it. Like you have to time that perfectly.
Yep.
In order for that to actually be successful.
But also at the same time, it's the #1 submission in all of MMA, which is the only place that people ever generally would see jiu-jitsu.
I
So-
don't know it.
How many rear nakeds have you caught in a competition?
In competition,
That's my #1 submission in competition.
Is it really?
I usually just
That's
give
what
up
you
on the rear naked and go for a loop.
Normally it's loop chokes, but especially nogi, I've gotten like more rear naked chokes than I can remember.
Nogi, I end up going for an arm or something. Nogi, I usually end up getting an arm or something.
It
So
was
like,
your lady voice.
Oh my god, no. Don't do that again.
Yes, please
No.
keep using your lady voice. Me with 3 beautiful women.
We just lost 3 viewers.
I don't know if I
yeah.
can keep that up for that
We're
long.
on Facebook Live right now too, so I know you're watching this on the podcast or the YouTube or whatever it is later on, but
All
go
the
on
platforms.
to Facebook and fluidjujitsu.com where there's a live feed that's going to be on there too. But
Yeah. But it was very fun to tell, what was his name, Mark?
I don't
believe
know. I
The
ain't talking.
newscaster name was Mark.
CBS
now I feel
58 News, dude.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, it was.
He
no,
got
that's-
peed on by a goat yesterday.
I thought that was this morning.
That was
That was
yesterday.
yesterday.
Okay, good for him.
It's way better. We didn't even pee on him here.
We were really well behaved.
That's probably why he was so interested. He's like, "You're not gonna pee on me."
Yes.
Exactly. But,
We had to keep Tracy at a distance, though.
right.
I was well behaved.
Oh my goodness.
Good job not peeing on the news guy.
And we didn't say that's what she said. I mean, we told him about it.
We did.
Not on
But we
camera.
let a lot of things float by that we would have jumped on in class.
Would you say it flowed by him fluidly?
Fluidly, yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Anyway, so we did self-defense today, and I know we kind of briefly went through all of the moves that we did, but we did some gun defense, some knife defense. So Tracy and I were the two main females on camera who
What'd
were
you do
getting
this? We are
attacked.
females.
I don't know.
Oh, that's right. We were
Females.
the main ones.
Yeah. But
Then there's
maybe we're not. I
Wait,
don't know.
who's got painted toes? That'll be the.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Dang.
yep.
Our just okay. It's
I don't think
painted.
that's a good indicator, actually.
Well, so far 50% of us are females and 50% of us have painted toenails, so.
It's a
Not the
puzzle.
same
It's a
50%.
sounds like a
Doesn't
math
matter.
problem. Okay, I'm sorry, cut you off. Us female. We were the main
The
female.
main female. Well, we had Karen here. So
Mhm.
Karen wasn't a main female. She was just kind of like in the background doing
She was
her
a
rolling
side
stuff.
female.
Oh.
A side chick.
Dang.
She
Sorry,
was
Karen.
doing good.
it's
She
you.
was beating up the boys. I watched. It was great.
Yep.
But yeah, so we
Yeah,
were
she's-
on camera. We had Dave and we had Nick attacking us from behind and with a knife and with a gun, and we had to defend it in the Gracie self-defense curriculum moves. And it was a lot more work than I anticipated.
Yeah.
I was sweating way more than I planned on it. I have to wash my gi now, actually. I didn't plan on that today.
Were you guys nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about your nerves.
The first thing he said to me when the camera started rolling is he goes to put a choke on my collar or my neck, and he was just like, "You're shaking." I was like, "Shut up."
I know.
hey, you
But
have
we
to
had
use a
masks
stage
on,
whisper
so-
for this.
We were able to have like little quiet conversations in our teams.
Mm-hmm.
No lip reading behind the masks.
Yep.
But yeah, so we got attacked. We did some bear hugs, and we got to ankle pick the guys a lot.
I didn't fall down.
Good.
I fell down in practice.
That's good.
Talk about your nerves, though.
Well, I mean, just being on camera, and then it's like, oh, what am I? If I mess up, like no one's gonna come here because we suck.
Yeah.
I was worried we had to do them like by name, like okay.
Oh, like he would
like
call
from
it
the-
out?
Yeah.
And then I was like,
You do for the test.
Yep.
right.
Then you just have to
but then
memorize
you're
the
not-
order.
But on camera, like it was like, oh, we just did them as we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
That set, but it took a little of the.
It was kind of nice that the camera wasn't just on us and we just had to do it. And I'm also glad we didn't have to be in sync because I know that was something that you and I talked
That
about
would have been
yesterday.
so cool. Though.
That's kind of what Taekwondo was like. You know, they do their forms, and
Yeah.
or Capoeira is on the beat.
I can't even do 1, 2, 3 clap on time, so I'm never.
Real quick,
I'm
let's
never
try.
gonna have
1,
an
2, 3,
instinct.
clap.
Dave.
That was perfect. That's exactly what class is like.
That sums everything up.
I'm
right
always
there.
eager, but it's like
It's a really good white people sport because we don't have to keep time.
Let us know in the comments if you also clapped. 'Cause that's a habit for me.
Oh my gosh,
Every time I hear 1, 2, 3, clap, it
Yep.
happens.
I remember when he was doing online classes for a little bit, right when the pandemic started. I would be watching from my room, and I was just watching, and then he'd be like, "Okay, 1, 2, 3," and in the bed, I was like, "Oh, no one's here,"
Oh, good. Okay.
without thinking about it.
Yeah, it's a good habit. It's a
But
fun habit.
what was it like being the attacker today?
yeah.
I mean, I really tried to kill you like a bunch, and you didn't let me. So it was annoying. No, it was fun. I really enjoyed helping you guys display how powerful it can be as a smaller person protecting yourself against an attack. It's just great for everybody to drill. And that's the number one thing. We do have a recurring women's self-defense class here at Fluid Jiu Jitsu, and it's fantastic that we have it recurring because if you learn the technique once, if you do it once, 2 years later, you're not going to remember it. You'll be like, I went to the class, but I don't remember crap about what to do. So when we have that, obviously it slowed down during COVID a little bit, but I'm sure it's going to pick up and be more regular. I'm pretty sure it's like every 3 months or something. We run through the curriculum for a whole month and
It's
allow
exercise,
people.
it's fun, it's practical.
Absolutely.
valuable. Like
It's a lot of exercise.
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
it benefits so many aspects
Yep.
of your life.
Yeah.
And we laugh.
And it's a great funnel for people that have no experience with jiu-jitsu to come to the top, have a little bit more awareness, and say, oh, I can learn a little bit of women's self-defense. They get here, they do it for 4 weeks. They realize, I love these people. This gym is super fun. I'm going to join.
Yeah.
And I think every class we get at least 1 or 2 new members. So if you run a school, it's a fantastic way to get people in.
But I mean, self-defense is great for women to know, and he specified that we do women's self-defense classes too. But I mean, a guy also gets a lot of benefit out of learning the self-defense because guys also get attacked. It's not just females. So I guess as a higher belt, talk about your experience in the self-defense aspect and what has it done for you in your life.
Well, once a month, I attack Dave out of a van.
I didn't ask you.
He attacks me at the van.
Make sure he's fresh on his skills.
Side note, Dave's coming out of that van with candy.
And a bottle of lube. It's weird.
This got weird. Okay, continue.
It's given me more confidence in my day-to-day life, just walking around, standing upright and keeping better posture. And I've actually looked into some self-defense stuff. I put together a little bit of a curriculum myself to take for like a 4-week that I taught at my church at one point. And
awesome.
if it was brought up, I'd probably redo it elsewhere if it ever came up. But it was a lot of that was the posture, look around, be aware of your surroundings and what's going on, as well as here's what you do if somebody tries to attack you and does something to you.
Just the situational awareness and
Yeah.
being ready all the time.
Because it's better not to have to use it, and if you're aware, you can get out of the situation before you
Embrace the suck.
Embrace the suck.
Yes. What's the best quote for that? The most common quote? I'm thinking of one. When you know things, but you don't have to use it. I know you guys know.
walk softly and carry a big stick.
No.
Better to be
Yes,
a warrior in a garden.
than a gardener in a war. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Didn't Mike
Yeah.
Coy say that?
It's
an
popular.
ancient Chinese secret.
Well, he's older.
You want to do a plug because I'm gonna get off here. You want to do a plug for your BJJ marriage?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is an excerpt of a BJJ Marriage, a podcast that you can find on many podcast platforms, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. It's just search a BJJ Marriage, and it's a weekly podcast that we record. Sometimes we have awesome guests like Tracy and Dave. Sometimes it's just annoying Brittany and I, but it's super fun.
You mean Nick annoying Brittany?
Yeah.
Yes.
I like how you agreed to that. But
Yeah.
we've been doing it every week. We talk about different subjects. We try to have different people and just trying to keep it nice and active and going. It's about 45 minutes to an hour long every week. And
It's a fun creative outlet.
Yeah.
Just love talking about jiu-jitsu and talking about
You
life
guys do it
being
well.
married. Oh, thanks.
thanks.
Keep
It's
it
been a
moving
fun
and it's
podcast.
funny and
All right, I'm gonna go home and go to sleep.
All right.
Okay.
You guys are the best.
Bye, Facebook Live. We're not
Thank you
done
so
yet.
you go to work.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of a double filming, so I apologize if that gets confusing while you're listening. It's all good. But yeah, I do love making this podcast, so I have a fun time talking to people and talking about jiu-jitsu. And, a lot of podcasts run dry with topics, and a couple people have told us that
You're
you're
gonna
going to run
run
out of stuff to talk about. And I'm like, no, I feel like I can talk about jiu-jitsu for the rest of my life, and it will never be
I'm
even
confident you
Who are
can
those
talk about
people?
jiu-jitsu.
people that don't know jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Well, and the more you train, the more stories you get, the more you
Yeah.
do,
Yes.
the more you learn, and the more
Yeah.
you have to talk about.
The more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Yes.
Well, this is episode 12, and this is probably already like this. I mean, this is the first time we're talking about self-defense, but there's been 2 times that we've talked about the same subject twice, but they've been completely different every single time.
And then you throw in guests and have their perspective on the same topic. It's fantastic.
It's just ever changing.
I actually send out a daily encouraging message, and these three people are one of the awesome people that get the daily encouraging message.
I read it every day.
And I actually thought that I would run out of encouraging messages, but I've done it for over a year and a half, almost 2 years. I've been sending this message out daily, which has been crazy. So if I can do that daily, I can do this weekly forever. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, exactly. But
Also, if you'd like a message, drop a message in the comments, and I'll get it out to you. We'll make it happen.
In all the crap of life, when that little bing notification goes off, I'm like, now what? And it's like, here's your daily reminder that you're awesome. And, you know, it's like, oh, this is awesome.
my coworker gets them
Attitude
too.
of gratitude or
Oh,
whatever.
thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, every Friday, attitude of gratitude.
Yep. My
It's good
coworker
reminder.
every day, like when I'm with her and both of our phones go off and she's like, oh, it's your husband again. And then it's funny because she talks to me so much, so she knows a lot of what happens in our lives and our personal lives. And then she'll be like, I know what his message was about. I know what was happening. And I was just like, yep, exactly.
I do enjoy doing it. I love creating, and my number one goal in life is to enrich people's lives and add value to people's lives as much as I can. That's the path I'm on right now.
Yeah, it's fun. And Jiu-Jitsu does that too.
Jiu-Jitsu is a huge motivator of that.
And you are genuine with that, Nick, because I've known you now since the basement days, and you are always, you know, flipping and tumbling in here and like, hey, how's it going? And, you know, like, is he ever not happy? Is he ever not upside down? Like, very positive. One of the most positive people I know, for sure.
Oh, thanks for that.
Sometimes it's kind of frustrating.
I don't know if I could be married to someone so positive.
Stop being so happy.
This has happened. We've had this
I
conversation.
think we should put you and Ellie on an island for like 24 hours.
Oh my
and,
God.
and just film it like reality. And we're like, bing, 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 good morning. What is wrong with you?
CBS 58. Put it together.
Yeah.
That would be outstanding.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
I don't
God.
know who would come out alive.
Oh my goodness.
Are you ready now?
I had talked about that. I do want to apply for Survivor. I still need to record a video for that, but I'm going to apply for Survivor.
Really? Not
Yeah.
naked and afraid.
I mean, I don't know,
You could probably do that one too.
but I need someone to be naked with.
Woo, let's go.
All right.
Dave's down
It's me and my girlfriend Dave.
with the bun.
Oh yeah.
The truck shows up. Dave takes his dress off, climbs in the truck.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
I gotta thank Dave because like he didn't know he was doing this. He shows up. It's bright, like crazy bright and early.
It's not
It
even
was-
bright. It
it
was
was-
dark out.
Yeah,
It was?
right. It was dark out. And
What happened when you tried to walk in the door, Tracy?
I had my bag. I had my cup of coffee in a ceramic mug, and I totally bit it. I totally like went up this little ledge of mulch and just broke the coffee cup, mulch all over me in the cup. The maintenance man pulls over. I'm just like, that's what I do. Just move on. Nothing to see here.
Oh man, I wish we would have got that on tape.
There's probably security footage out there somewhere.
I mean, I bit it.
Oh man, but you're still here,
But
and you know how to break falls.
I was just
Yes.
gonna say, did you break fall? Probably not with all the stuff in your hands, but
The cup broke my fall.
yeah,
The
there you go.
handle's
There.
gone now, and then
So much so you broke
the
the mug.
coffee's gone.
Oh yeah, Austin. Mugs.
I drank all my coffee before we started filming. And
Yeah,
I'm sad about it.
I made 2 cups per. Well, we were going to a TV show.
Wow.
Yep.
It's early. I'm gonna need more later, I think. But yeah, it was fun today.
Here's the cup.
The protein.
There's still some mulch in it. Mulch.
Oh, poor mug.
Oh, sad. Sad.
I'm gonna keep this like on my shelf just to remember to like slow my roll.
You should date it.
Just slow
You
my
should date the
roll. I'm
little
always
white
like running here and on my. Aren't I always running in with like 5 bags on my shoulder and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
all this? I'm a hot mess today. I said to Brent one time, I'm a hot mess today. He goes, you're a hot mess every day.
It's fantastic. That's why we love Tracy.
Yep.
She does. She walks in the room and brightens up the entire room. Also.
Absolutely. Always happy.
She is.
But we have talked about these two probably in depth multiple times throughout this entire series so far. We've always talked about our purple belt friend Dave, who likes to say the weirdest things sometimes, and then Tracy, the lovable Tracy that everyone always likes and wants to talk
Innocent. I keep everything.
She thinks she's innocent.
On the up
Everyone
and
who
up.
knows her knows she's
She's
not
the worst.
actually.
Straight, narrow.
Like, we like to say that our friend Laura is probably the dirty mind one here, but then if you say that, you don't know Tracy. Bye, friends. Bye, friends.
Bye.
But yeah, Tracy's definitely the troublemaker of the group without letting people know she's the troublemaker,
Don't
right?
tell people that.
She's
You have to know
sneaky about
Tracy
it too.
first.
No,
Well,
she's the sweetest
I
though.
think being the oldest, you learn like, what the hell, you know, like you just gotta live it a little.
Life is short, right?
You gotta live it a little, and
It's like having younger siblings. You make them get in trouble so you can just
Uh,
not get yelled at.
Mhm.
see, I'm the baby.
I am too.
Oh, I just made all my sisters do stuff, and then they'd get in trouble and I wouldn't.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
It was
That sounds
great
like you.
to find a group of people who think like I do. Like, Brent will be teaching and he'll say something like, jackhammer, pull out, and like the whole room cracks up. Like, we're all these like-minded weirdos.
Her husband's home.
Yeah.
Jack yeah. pull out Star Wars. Yeah, we have all those.
You gotta birth this one, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't say anything in the room of fluids. And it's like,
Yep.
my people.
Right.
You're all giggling?
We all
Yes.
just accept each other's weirdness. Here.
Yes.
It just happens. If
It's
you're
fantastic.
not weird, you're probably not gonna fit in.
Yeah, and that's the best part about jiu-jitsu is everybody, for the most part, is like-minded, and everybody comes together. We work on the same stuff, but we also have so much fun together all the time.
Oh, I mean, not everybody's like-minded, but no matter what, you come together over jujitsu. Like,
Right.
You drop
No,
everything
people.
when you
Right.
get on the mat.
Yeah, and when I said like-minded, I guess I mean like we all have one goal from jiu-jitsu, one main goal, and then there's a whole bunch of side goals, of course. But there's something that we can all get behind.
And we give each other room to have other opinions on things
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and just like leave it alone. You know, if we don't agree, we just
That's fine.
Yeah.
carry on.
I still love you because you love jiu-jitsu.
Right. And off the mat too, like our picnics or
Mhm.
you know, our social nights or game nights or prom.
Yeah.
Like,
What were you
we
gonna
have
say?
fun together as people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dave beat me at prom queen one year because he wore a dress.
We
He
have a
got more
jiu-jitsu
votes than
prom.
I did just because he was wearing a dress. I was a little jealous, but also
Yeah.
not because that's pretty impressive. I think I voted for you.
Oh, several people voted for me. You know, at least
Yeah,
one
I mean-
person voted for me for every category.
Oh my god.
Obviously, a lot of people voted for you. You won.
I got choked with some ripped piece of your dress.
Oh my
I
god.
choked everybody with my dress that night.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was amazing.
I think Laura and Brent were the only two that got out of it.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Coming back to self-defense, you learn how to use your clothes to defend yourself and choke people. So I was able to, wearing a dress, use it to choke and submit people.
Use whatever you can.
Yeah, just using whatever I had.
Yeah, resourceful. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's something I was gonna say and I totally blinked my mind. But sorry.
That's good. Yeah.
I have
So,
to slip out a little early. I have to go to work.
okay.
I have to go adult a little bit.
Well, thanks
But
so
I
much,
want to
Tracy.
thank Dave again for last minute coming in really early, and thank you guys for having me.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Tracy.
Tracy.
Real fun.
Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Tracy will be back soon on
Be
the
careful
show.
when you walk in because there's a curve out there. It's a killer.
Tracy, Ellie, and I are gonna do a women's podcast here very soon and talk about more in depth about what it's like to be a female in a male-dominated sport. So watch out for that one.
I'll leave that one alone. I was
Okay.
gonna say Dave can be our first guest.
Oh my god.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
But yeah.
Thanks, Tracy.
So today was fun. It was really cool to talk to someone new, the CBS guy, about what jiu-jitsu was and what the whole aspect of it all is and how it started and the self-defense part of it. Because, you know, to get your black belt, you have to know all, 72, 75
In front of everybody. That was impressive. That
Yeah.
was so cool to see.
Yep, exactly. But there's really no jiu-jitsu involved in the black belt test. Like, obviously you have to get there eventually, but
All the self-defense moves are jiu-jitsu,
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not grappling on the ground.
but it's a way to start it, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's not grappling on the ground. But it's the self-defense of learning how to defend a knife, learning how to defend a gun, learning how to defend a baseball bat or a stick coming at you. and from behind attacks, chokes, and everything. So you have to know all those to get your black belt in the test.
At least from our lineage.
Yeah.
Not every school is the same way.
Yeah, in the Gracie curriculum.
Right.
And then it was cool to watch Master Sauer critique everything that they were doing too, because our black belts now, Jason, Mike, and Rob, when they got their black belts, they did the whole defense curriculum, and they were doing it right, at least from our perspective, and the way that they were taught and the way that they drilled it. Hi, Tracy. But Master Sauer still was able to tell them how to make it even better every single time. Like, it's just forever evolving, and I think that that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Dave, if there was somebody that never knew about jiu-jitsu, what would you tell them they should know about jiu-jitsu? Or how would you explain it to someone?
It's a grappling art where you defend yourself after when somebody attacks you. If you're on bottom, like how to not get hit in the face, how to keep somebody away from you, or use your body to control them so they can't hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, once you get control, then you can start doing your own attacks.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, Brent was telling the newscaster also how much of it is like chess, human chess.
Yeah.
Which is a great analogy.
Yeah, I agree. So what was your biggest takeaway from today? I know you guys weren't really doing the self-defense moves. It was more Tracy and I doing it against you guys, but what was your biggest takeaway?
That you have to tailor your moves for your size to be against somebody else, because like Tracy was going to do a hip throw on me, except for she's short enough and I'm tall enough that even when she was fully extended with popping her hips up, well, my feet didn't come off the ground. So she had to switch it up to a type of trip instead. So she's, instead of lifting my hips over, she's blocking my knee and dropping me to the ground.
Mm-hmm. Taking out your posts.
Yeah. So there's little tailors and little tweaks that you can do for your size against a bigger attacker, and you have to practice everything to find all those little tweaks. Yep. Otherwise, you'll never.
Yeah.
So you would say jiu-jitsu tailors to your body?
Yeah.
Do you believe anyone when they say that they're too old or they're too fat or they're too small or any of those excuses when they say they can't do jiu-jitsu?
Nope. I've seen a guy with one leg and one arm do jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm. No excuses.
I think one of the coolest things that happened today was our newscaster. He said that he was 54 years old, and he was like, "Oh, I'm too old. I can't get into it." And then we looked around the room, and we're like, "How old are you, Tracy?" 53. How old are you, Mick? 54. How old are you, Ted? 51. And then how old are you? 41. And then we had Dave, 35. We have him, 29, and me, 25. All. And then Karen was 31. And that was everyone in the room. And then my dad's 42, 43. And so, like, we had a big age range in the room, and we're like, look, the median age here is like late 40s if you were to add that all together. So you're never too old for jiu-jitsu. Did you guys see those two women at Pan Am? Like, there were two, 70-year-old women as blue belts just going at it?
BJJ?
Yeah.
Yes. There's a jiu-jitsu grandma. She's on Instagram, and she competes in IBJJF. She's got that little curly white bob haircut, and she's like doing hip tosses and competing. It's crazy.
Yep.
Awesome.
You're never too old.
She's a blue belt.
Yeah.
Super fun to watch.
Absolutely.
And jiu-jitsu was for the smaller person, because as they were talking about today, the grandmaster was like 150 pounds. And he was just beating up guys that were like 200 and guys that were trying to rob him and attack him, because that's what Brazil was like back then.
Right, because that's essentially how this whole program started, right?
Yeah.
Where Master Helio was constantly put in these situations where he needed to defend himself, and so he came up with a system and a curriculum of all these different attacks and what you can do to defend them, because they were literally happening to him in the streets of Brazil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's defense against chokes, defense against bear hugs, defenses against guns, defense against knives, defense against sticks, defense against chairs, defense up against the wall, and I don't think I'm missing anything.
No.
No?
punches, kicks.
Yeah, punches, kicks, tackles. And then anything past that is your standard jiu-jitsu that you would see if you walk into a gym.
And then once they grab onto you or they come at you and you get a hold of them, well, now you're taking control of the situation. You can get them on the ground and get away, or get the hell out of them.
Yeah, make them sorry for attacking you.
Submit them.
It was also really cool. The newscaster was asking Brent, what happens if somebody's trying to punch you while they're doing the technique, or what happens should you try to kick them first? And Brent was saying to him, no, anytime that you engage, that you're within touching range of me, that's when jiu-jitsu starts, because then I can grab your foot, I can grab your hand, I can pull you in, close the distance, and start grappling from the top to the bottom.
Yeah, and if you're with the Gracie self-defense techniques, if they're trying to punch you and you're taking away their base, you're moving them so they're not, trying to punch off one foot when you're being spun around, it's not going to work so well.
Right, you might hit someone, but with no power.
Right. The other thing, too, that the newscaster asked, which I thought was interesting and a different perspective to think about, was what do you do to slow your brain down when you're in a stressful situation? Like, if you are held hostage and someone holds a gun to your head, how are you going to be able to slow your thoughts down to the point where you're like, okay, grab the barrel, turn the wrist, move it, and get it out of their hand? Because most people probably gonna crap their pants in that situation. So he wanted to know, like, what do you do? And he asked all four of us when Tracy was here and asked us what we do to help us in that type of situation. And I think that jiu-jitsu in general helps you with that situation. It helps you slow your brain down in stressful situations, because if you're getting smothered, you got to figure out how to not get smothered before you die.
If you go back and watch my match videos, you'll see right before I make a lot of my escapes, close my eyes, take a deep breath, and all of a sudden, that's when I start moving.
Because you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Processing.
That's that 1 second to, okay, stop them. All right, I got everything locked down. I'm out.
Yep.
Yes, the way I like to say jiu-jitsu slows down your brain is you're making a logical response instead of an emotional reaction to whatever is happening. Because whenever you react, and that's the best thing about training jiu-jitsu is your reactions, your habits get better also. But if you react to things in general, you're not using your logical brain to respond to things. You're just reacting however you're used to reacting. But if you're able to slow things down and say, this is happening, this is how I should respond to this situation, then you can use your logical brain to do something about it. And that's a great analogy for life in general that I've learned through jiu-jitsu. There's been stressful moments in my life where I was able to take a deep breath, like he said, close my eyes and say, okay, what am I going to do about this situation? Instead of, exploding or getting angry or lashing out or whatever that you would do as an emotional reaction.
And I think that's also a huge sense of growth, too, in your jiu-jitsu game, is when you finally can learn to just settle down and start breathing your way through things rather than, wrestling your way out or muscling your way out or type of just spazzy behavior. And I remember one time specifically, it was probably about 6 months ago or so, and I was rolling with Josh Janis, who's a black belt now, and
who's that guy?
Some dude. I don't like him very much. I'm just kidding. But Josh was holding me in a triangle, and it was a very tight triangle. And I remember I just took a deep breath and I calmed down and I just worked my way out of it. He obviously could have submitted me if he wanted to, but he was letting me actually work my way out and trying to figure out how to think through that process. And I remember him complimenting me after that, where he was just like, hey, I wanted to let you know that I thought you did a really good job at controlling your breathing and actually working your way out of that rather than just fighting it. And I've noticed a big improvement in you. And that's something that's kind of resonated with me a lot in the last 6 months, where I'm like, wow, I must have grown exponentially in my jiu-jitsu game if I can get out of a stressful situation with a brown or a black belt who knows how to kill me, who could kill me, but is giving me the opportunity to not let them kill me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I have noticed, people will tap the things, before I put the pressure on it. I'm like, oh, I'm not really taking your arm yet because I want you to get out. Take the opportunity to escape and learn the escape because...
Yes. I given you a hole and you decided to tap instead of go out the path.
You're tapping too soon. I'm not cranking on you yet so that you can start to feel the danger and get out.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, I've definitely, like, instead of close guard, I just had, like, half of a triangle hold, and people tap before I even, like, lock my legs or anything, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Why are you doing that?
Don't
You
be like
would
that.
die.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's silly.
And remember what I learned to calm down was from a smother. People would cup their hand, put it over my nose and mouth.
Mm.
And
Ellie.
it was even before that, and was people a lot bigger than me, and a lot more skilled at the time because it was white belt, no stripe, and they just cover everything up and like press it there, either from the back or from the top. I'm defending my neck, but like you feel like you can't breathe. Like if you stop and just focus on your breath, you can breathe enough that you can get out, and it's not actually putting you in danger.
Right. Yeah, perceived danger in the world or perceived fear of things does hold a lot of people back.
Yeah.
And once you can move past what you think might be happening versus what is actually happening, there's huge growth in your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, do we have any last minute thoughts here at all about self-defense?
I think even if you aren't a woman, if there's self-defense curriculum at your school, don't skip it because it's boring jiu-jitsu. It's very practical. The Gracie Jiu-Jitsu system, all 70 whatever moves, are all very practical things that happen commonly.
Yeah.
So commonly means, there's a very low percentage of you getting attacked in public in general. But if somebody were to attack you, these are most likely the things that you're going to have to defend against.
Yeah. And the more you go, the more you do stuff, the more likely you are going to run into some jerk that wants to get in a fight with you, and pick a fight with you. And these are going to be things that help you in that, and they'll teach you, and having that confidence from that will help you carry yourself in a way that people won't want to pick that fight with you.
Right. And I mean, he says more likely, but I mean, it's super low percentage chance of you actually getting attacked. It's 29 years in my life, and I think like one person has thrown a punch at me in my life in like a real scenario. I've never been in a fight, but I've always been the person that Dave's like, I've been in some fights. But I mean, when you learn about fighting, you learn how important it is to not get in a real street fight, because the mats are not the same as concrete.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Well, how many fights have you guys been in?
Well, as an adult, after high school, 0. In high school, I was in a few.
Sure. Did you know jiu-jitsu then?
No.
Would it have helped you?
Probably. It kept me calm and kept me from trying to kill people a couple of times.
Yeah.
I lost my temper every once in a while.
Yeah.
Sure.
I noticed you did say that though earlier about the carrying yourself. You were telling the newscaster that if you walk with your head high and your shoulders back, that you're going to be more confident on the street. And typically, if someone's lurking for a vulnerable person, they're less likely to attack you if you have a confidence in you.
Like I said before, I put together a curriculum and I read a bunch on it. And that was like one of the main things that everyone came back to is hold yourself with confidence. And the more you hold yourself with confidence, the less people want to mess with you.
Absolutely.
I mean, just in general, you're not going to be, even if it's a kid in school, you're not going to be teased and picked on if you have the confidence and you don't care. If you're walking down the street and you have the confidence, people don't want to necessarily want to pick a fight. They don't want to try and...
If you have enough confidence, you can walk into any business, the back of any restaurant. You can literally walk through doors with a purpose, and people will not stop you. Yeah. I've done it in multiple places. I'm like looking for a bathroom, I'll just go in the back of a place, or I'll just walk into... Okay, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say I'll walk into women's bathrooms when men's bathrooms have been full.
Or Panera to get your coffee on the counter.
Yeah, I walked in the back of the kitchen to grab my food.
Yeah.
And people are like, okay.
I've walked into sports games when I was in college.
Okay,
You just walk in, It helps if you carry a clipboard too.
Yes.
If you carry a clipboard, you can get into anywhere.
You're
Yes.
a legit person.
And if you have 2 people carrying a ladder behind you, they will absolutely let you in anywhere. It's great.
It's funny.
Hard hats and clipboards will get you in just about anywhere.
Oh yeah, I'm here to look at your light.
Yep.
I'm here to fix the thing. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I don't know why we're promoting this right now.
Because
Just
it's
act
fun.
confident. Just
It's
act
fun.
confident.
But I think we're portraying how much confidence makes people not want to mess with you, even if they know, like, this person probably shouldn't be here. If you're confident, they're going to be like, nah.
Right.
So it's very less likely for somebody that wants to attack prey to attack somebody that's confident.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
psychological game is,
Don't look like prey.
yeah, don't be prey.
Don't cut your purse.
I think I said it in another contest, don't be a bitch.
Even lions and tigers, they pick out the weak one from the herd. They don't pick out
Yep.
the strong one.
The kids, the sick.
Yeah. So if you hold yourself confident and walk with a purpose, you're the strong one. You're not the prey. You're not the one they want.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, well, today was fun. This is fun.
Yeah, this was a super fun day. So once again, I'm going to post a link. Go check out the article. It'll be super fun to see, us on live TV and see Professor Brenton. He does a little shoulder toss because I was choking him on the back too. It was super fun. We did a little bit of flow rolling. Very enjoyable jiu-jitsu morning.
Yeah, it was an interview, and it was just cool. It was a fun experience, something different, something new. Got us out of bed, so
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, thanks so much to Tracy who left already, and thanks Dave for being our guest
Yeah.
today.
On our impromptu podcast, we literally were just like, we're recording a podcast today because
Yeah.
we're here, so why not?
Yes.
Very fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for watching. Leave us a review, share it with your friends, and do jiu-jitsu. Don't be a bitch.
Good plan.
I hope that's not our trademark.